What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my betting breakdown for UFC 265. We have Cyril Gane going against Derek Lewis. As always, we're going to go fight by fight, looking at these fights from a betting perspective and a betting perspective only. If you do want a further, more in-depth breakdown video, you can go check out my other content. I've done a prediction video. I went live on Friday as well. So lots of stuff out there if you have not seen it yet. But before we get started and get into the video, if you guys can leave a like, also subscribe if you have not yet, that'd be much appreciated. You can follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers. Instagram is DFS by the Numbers. I will be posting my bets sometime there Saturday, and then also I will be going live 1 hour prior to when the prelims start, which I believe it's 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. So I will be going live on my channel 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern time as well. But yeah, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. I have a lot of bets. I think this is a phenomenal betting opportunity card in my opinion, and good fights as well. So looking forward to it, looking to have fun, and looking to hopefully make some money as well. So I say we get into it here, starting with the first fight of the night, and I am very invested in this first fight of the night. We have Johnny Munoz going against Jamie Simmons, and I really like Johnny Munoz in this fight, and I do have 3 bets on the first fight of the night. Johnny Munoz, I got him at minus 225. I put 2.5 units on it. I also have Johnny Munoz wins inside the distance, put a half unit on it at plus 120. And then I also took the fight doesn't go to decision, 1.25 units on it at minus 128. So it's safe to say I think Munoz wins, and I think he does win inside the distance. I just think there's going to be a huge skill discrepancy on the mat. Johnny Munoz, a legit BJJ black belt, going against Jamie Simmons, who, he's a decent grappler, blue belt in BJJ, good wrestler as well. But you take a look at where Jamie Simmons likes to take the fights, and it is down to the mat and about all of his fights. So if you go to the mat with Johnny Munoz, I think you're going to have some problems for sure. And I really like how Munoz in his UFC debut attempted 14 takedowns against Nate Munoz. He was only able to get 2 of them, but if he's able to get at least 1 here, I think there's a very good chance that he not only wins, but wins in dominant fashion. Probably a first or second round submission for Johnny Munoz. So I like Munoz. I like inside the distance, and I like the fight doesn't go to decision as well, as Jamie Simmons is typically like a killer be killed fighter. He has a high finish rate, both guys do, but Jamie Simmons has been finished in all 3 of his losses, including one by submission. So going big on the first fight of the night. Hopefully it works out. I'm pretty high on Johnny Munoz this week, and hopefully he gets it done. All right, getting to the next fight. Yeah, no action here. Melissa Gatto going against Victoria Leonardo. As an outright pick, I will take Leonardo, as she has been the much more active fighter. There's a lot of question marks in this fight. I'd caution anybody from betting on this fight. We see that the line is now a pick'em. Gatto did get up to a little bit of a favorite, but the line is back to a pick'em here. If anything, the only thing I'd be interested in would be Melissa Gatto by submission. That is her win condition, and it was kind of weird seeing her as a favorite because, in my opinion, she was submission or bust. I think Victoria Leonardo has, passed the victory of, winning in the striking or taking this fight down to the mat, getting control time as well, but you will not see me betting on Leonardo. If anything, it would be Melissa Gatto by submission. Kind of weird. They said the fight doesn't go to decision at minus 140 here. I really don't love that. I'm kind of predicting like a Leonardo by decision here, which that's plus 200. Not much interest in that as well. So for me, if I was forced to make a bet on this one, I'd probably be a little stab on the Gatto by submission. But other than that, this is a pretty big pass for me. Miles Johns going against Anderson Dos Santos. So I did have a bet on Miles Johns last time they were supposed to fight. I bet him at minus 170, but now we see him at minus 200, minus 210. So I ultimately did pass, as I do think the line is a little bit more correct now, and I still do like Miles Johns to win. I also, if you remember, I did a bet on the under 2.5. And I went right back to that here. I do have half a unit on the under 2.5 in this fight at plus 160. Anderson Dos Santos is a guy that's going to bring it. He is a killer be killed fighter. He has been finished 5 times, 3 by knockout, 2 by submission. Miles Johns has been finished in his only loss. Miles Johns has a ton of power. Anderson Dos Santos is very, very hittable. I think Johns is live for a knockout there. On the flip side, if Anderson Dos Santos wins, it's going to be inside the distance. If he is able to get this down to the mat, whether it's Miles Johns getting the takedown, or whether, he pulls guard or something, or maybe he does get Miles Johns down, he's going to be very, very live for a submission. Dos Santos has a legit BJJ, and on the feet, Dos Santos has some power as well, and we have seen Johns knocked out. So, either way, I'm going to take a half unit shot on that fight doesn't go to decision. I think just with the fighting style of Anderson Dos Santos, I think there's a very good chance it does finish inside the distance. But yeah, I do like Miles Johns, but I just don't like the price tag where it's at now all that much. All right. Next fight, we have Manel Kape going against Odi Osborne, and I do have 2 bets on this fight. I have Manel Kape wins inside the distance. I have half a unit on it at plus 190, and then I also have the fight doesn't go to decision, 1 unit on it, plus 115. I really do like that play. I think there's a little bit of recency bias. Manel Kape has been to decision in his last 2 fights, but those were against very high-level guys in Alexander Pantoja and Mateus Nicolau. Ode Osborne has 2 finishes in the UFC thus far, got finished by Brian Kelleher and finished Jerome Rivera himself. And something important to note is Ode Osborne has not seen the second round in like 8 or 9 fights. It's been a while. Something also to note is the finish rates of these guys. Manel Kape, a 93% finish rate. I think he's won like 14 times inside the distance. Ode Osborne has an 88% finish rate himself. Both guys have been finished a combined 4 times, and I think there's a very good chance that this not only finishes, but it finishes early as well. I like Kape here. I was honestly tempted to bet him. I was going to kind of wait to see if the line went down. I thought Ode Osborne might be, dog of the week. It turns out to not be that. I like Kape. Don't really love the line, but I do think there's a good chance he does get a finish if he does win. Like I said, 93% finish rate. Ode Osborne has not been out of the first round in like 8 or 9 fights. I do like Manel Kape to win by second round finish here. So, yeah, I took a half unit shot on Manel Kape inside the distance, and I also took a shot on that fight doesn't go to decision as well. If you like Ode Osborne, maybe take a shot on the first round finish for him, because again, I think like 7 or 8 of his wins are in that first round. So if he does win, probably in that first round, but I do like Manel Kape myself. Karolina Kowalkiewicz going against Jessica Penne. I was very tempted, very tempted on Karolina Kowalkiewicz earlier in the week. Kind of talked myself out of it. I can see it already. I mean, Karolina is going to look really good in the striking. Jessica Penne takes her down out of nowhere, and Jessica Penne gets 4 minutes of top control and rides out the round. I yell at my TV. I get really upset, and I just don't want to deal with that. It's a close fight. I do like Karolina Kowalkiewicz, but you can't really trust her. You can't really trust either of these fighters. This is going to be a pass for me. I think Karolina's aside. I think she wins, but especially where the line's at now, minus 135, I think I'm going to just pass that. There's a ton of betting opportunities on this card, and this is probably not the best one. Like, even Karolina Kowalkiewicz by decision was something I was looking at, but I was kind of expecting to get like maybe plus 150 I would have took, but yeah, plus 110, probably no way there. So I picked Kowalkiewicz by decision, but I just don't think there's much value there, to be honest. It's a close fight. Alonzo Menifield going against Ed Herman, another fight where I do have 2 bets on it. I have the under 1.5 rounds. I got it at plus 100. I have 1 unit on that, and also took a shot on Alonzo Menifield wins by first round knockout, plus 225, half a unit on that. I think that's his win condition. Alonzo Menifield, I believe like 9 of his 10 wins have came in that first round. The one that came in the second round was like in the first minute of that second round. So he has never ever won past that, past that 1.5 round mark. All of his wins have came before then, and you see him as a minus 240, minus 250 favorite. Why not take the under? Why not take the first round prop rather than laying minus 250 on Alonzo Menifield, who is extremely untrustworthy to say the least, but I think there's a very good chance that he gets a knockout here. Ed Herman, he did not look great at weigh-ins. He's 40 years old, getting up there in age. He's going to be at a massive speed, a massive athletic disadvantage as well, and he's very hittable, very slow. I think Alonzo Menifield has a extreme power advantage here and a really good chance to put him out. Ed Herman probably needs to get this fight down to the ground early, and Menifield has a very good takedown defense. I think Menifield's going to have multiple opportunities to get him out. If he does not get Ed Herman out of there early, I do kind of worry about Menifield, but I'm willing to take a shot on the under, especially at plus money, and then also that first-round knockout prop. I don't really see him submitting Ed Herman. I think if he does win, it will be indeed a first-round knockout. So took a couple shots there, so give me Alonzo Menifield for the win. All right, next we have Draco Rodriguez going against Vince Morales. I do have 2 bets on this fight as well. I have 1 unit on Vince Morales at plus 105, and I also have 1 unit on the fight doesn't go to decision at plus 105. So both guys are finishers. I believe Vince Morales had finished every single one of his wins outside of the UFC. He was very close to finishing a couple of fights in the UFC as well, but those did not happen. So he has not had a UFC finish yet, but I do think there's a great opportunity to get one here as Draco Rodriguez, not the best striking defense. I think Vince Morales is going to have a pretty significant striking advantage in my opinion. I know, a lot of people are talking up Rodriguez's striking this week, and I honestly just don't see it. I think Rodriguez, to win, he needs to get the fight down to the mat, which he very well can, but Morales has a very good get-up game. So if it is on the feet for long periods of time, and I think it will be, I think Vince Morales has a very good chance to get a finish in this fight. So Rodriguez has been finished 2 times In both of his losses, both by knockout. I kind of question his chin. I kind of question his striking defense as well. And Vince Morales hits like an absolute truck, so I think a Morales knockout is very live. But on the flip side, and this is why I took the fight, doesn't go to decision, if Rodriguez wins, I think it's inside the distance as well. I think Rodriguez possibly gets a submission. Morales has been submitted 2 times. Morales has been finished in 3 of his 5 losses. Both guys finishers. Both guys can be finished. But me personally, I do like the Morales side. He has fought the much better competition by a significant margin. And I do think he gets a job here probably by knockout. Morales by knockout is plus 310. Not terrible. But I personally took the dog shot on Morales. On top of that, I took the dog shot on the fight doesn't go to decision as well. 1 unit on each. Let's see what happens. All right, next we have Rafael Fizzy going against Bobby Green. No action here, but what I will say is I do like the fight goes to decision or the over 2.5. Bobby Green has not had a finish since like 2012 or 13. It's been a long time since Bobby Green has finished anybody. On the flip side, Rafael Fizzy, he can get a finish here. That's the only thing I'd worried about. But Bobby Green has only been knocked out once in the UFC. That was by Dustin Poirier. Bobby Green, very durable fighter. So if anything, I would take that fight goes to decision. I take that over 2.5. I would take Fizzy by decision as well. But yeah, no bet here for me, but those were kind of the plays I'm looking at. But yeah, I'll pick Fizzy. I'll take him to win those first 2 rounds. I think the 3rd round could get a little bit sketchy. Not too high on Fizyev's gas tank in that 3rd round. I do think he slows down, but I do think it's a good fight for him. I do think he wins, but I do think it's going to be a little bit closer than the line indicates, a minus 320. So I'll take Fizzy. I will take him by decision, but no bet here for me. Casey Kenny going against Song Yadong. Same thing here. I think it's a solid fight to target to go to decision. I think the fight goes to decision was like minus 170, minus 160 around there. Not terrible. Casey Kenny in his entire career has never been finished. I think that's huge. Song Yadong has been finished once by knockout. If anything, I'd be kind of worried about his Song Yadong knockout, but then again, Casey Kenny's very, very durable. I see it going to decision. I see it being close. I kind of edge Kenny based off the fact that he's going to get takedowns, and hopefully a lot of them here against Song Yadong, who can be taken down. Very good get a game, don't get me wrong, but I think the takedowns and the volume of Casey Kenny will be enough to get the win. I'll say Casey Kenny by decision, which is plus 170, but no bet here for me. All right, Angela Hill going against Tisha Torres. I do have a bet here. I bet the fight goes to decision. I have 2.5 units on it at minus 235. That was on FanDuel Sportsbook, and FanDuel Sportsbook actually had it at one point minus 205 to go to decision here. We now see it at like minus 400, and rightfully so. This fight's going to decision more often than not. Angela Hill only has, I think, like 1 or 2 finishes in the UFC, one coming by a cut stoppage. Tisha Torres has 1 finish in the UFC, coming by a cut stoppage. So unless there's like a cut stoppage, I do see this going the distance. Angela Hill has been submitted in the UFC. Both fighters, other than that, have never been knocked out. So yeah, I like this fight to go the distance. I think it's a good play. I think it's a good parlay piece as well. It is going to be my biggest play on the night. I should have went heavier on it, to be honest, but I'm confident that it will go the distance there. As far as picking a winner, I'll go Torres. It's a close fight. I just think she can mix in the takedowns, get some control time, push Angela Hill against the cage, get in the clinch. But close fight. I'll take Torres, but ultimately, I don't care who wins. I just want this fight to go to decision. I do think it does. All right, Vicente Luca going against Michael Chiesa. I kind of missed the boat on Chiesa. I saw him at plus 114 or plus 116 actually on FanDuel, and I didn't pull the trigger, and then I went to pull the trigger, and then that line was completely gone, ultimately passed. You now see it at minus 110. I do think it's a solid matchup for Chiesa. The problem is it's a close fight. If Luque does win, it's going to be inside the distance, and some things that really stuck out to me were these Luque inside the distance props, like Luque inside the distance in general, plus 215, Luque by knockout, plus 375, and Luque by submission, plus 700. I actually took a shot on Luque by submission earlier in the week. I got it at plus 1,400. I put a quarter unit on it. I think Luque, I want to say he's kind of live for the sub. Chiesa has been submitted 3 times. I think the fight's going to play out on the mat. You take a look at Michael Chiesa's fights, and most of them do play out in control time, where it's either him getting controlled or him doing the controlling there. And he doesn't really give people opportunities to really knock him out. I kind of went through the significant strikes landed on my breakdown video, and it was like, or landed against him, and it was like some low numbers, and you can kind of see it. He averages less than like 2 significant strikes absorbed per minute, and that's because, he gets the fight down to the mat early and often, and I do think he's going to do that here. So I took a quarter unit shot on Luque by submission. If you do like Luque, probably take him inside the distance. I don't see him winning a decision, but yeah, those Luque violence props are like very juicy, like even like the knockout, plus 375, like that's if he wins, it's going to be by one of those, either a knockout or submission. So I did take a quarter unit shot myself on that submission. Chiesa, if you do like him, decision plus 220. I don't really see him submitting. Luca has been subbed twice before, but on FanDuel Sportsbook, they have an odds boost. I think it's like Chiesa wins by decision or submission at plus 160. That's probably the route I'd look. So the pick will be Chiesa, but I think there's a ton of value on Luca in those violent props there. Jose Aldo going against Pedro Munoz, a fight where I think it's a decent fight to go to decision as well. Minus 150, I did not bet it, but it was something I was definitely considering. It's a tough fight. I mean, Jose Aldo's going to have a 5-inch reach advantage. I really don't like that. He's going to have the power advantage as well. But Pedro Munoz is going to have the volume advantage. Pedro Munoz throws a ton of volume. He's going to have the better gas tank as well. It's a close fight. I want nothing to do with it. You see the line. You see Munoz is plus 100. You see Aldo is minus 120. The line's been, pretty much around to pick him the whole week, and rightfully so. It's a close fight. I'll take Pedro Munoz for that volume, for that gas tank. I think he's going to come on as the fight does go on. But, man, it's a close fight there. No bet for me. If I was to pick anything, it probably would be that fight goes to decision, but no bet there. And then the main event, Ciryl Gane going against Derek Lewis. I do have 2 bets on this main event. I have Ciryl Gane wins inside the distance plus 100, and I also have the fight ends in a KO minus 130 at 1.5 units on that. I really do like that line on FanDuel Sportsbook. I'm pretty sure it's still there, but it just makes no sense to me. Like, Gane inside the distance is plus 100, right? Like, if he wins, there's a really good chance it is inside the distance. I know Gane has went to decision his last 2 fights, but Derek Lewis, when he does lose, it is inside the distance, especially in the UFC. He has never he's never lost by decision. All of his losses in the UFC have came inside the distance. He's been knocked out 4 times. He's been submitted once as well. And Derek Lewis has never seen that 5th round. So I think Gane does pick him apart and eventually does find that finish probably later in the fight. But yeah, I like Gane. I like him inside the distance. I like the fight ends in KO. I have bets on those. And I also had interest in the under 4.5. I had interest in the fight doesn't go decision, which is minus 200. I think it's a very good spot as well. But for me, I did play Gane inside the distance, 1 unit plus 100. And then also the fight ends in KO, minus 130, 1.5 units on that. I think there's a finish either way. Like, I think it covers both sides, right? Like, if you play the fight doesn't go decision, it covers both sides. Obviously, if Derek Lewis wins, it's going to be inside the distance. If Gane wins, I think there's a very good chance it is inside the distance as well. So those are my bets. It's a ton of action. I think it's a phenomenal betting card, and hopefully make some money this week for sure. I'll quickly go over my bets, and I'll also post them on Twitter as well and Instagram. Vince Morales, 1 unit plus 105 dog shot. Johnny Munoz, 2.5 units minus 225. Morales, Rodriguez, fight doesn't go to decision, 1 unit plus 105. Alonzo Menafield at Herman, under 1.5 rounds, plus 100, 1 unit on it. Ode Osborne, Menocop, fight doesn't go to decision, plus 115, 1 unit on it. Torres, Hill, fight goes the distance, minus 235, 2.5 units on it. Luque by submission, quarter unit, plus 1,400. Gane wins inside the distance, plus 100, 1 unit. Menafield wins by round 1 KO, plus 225, half a unit. Johnny Munoz, Jamie Simmons, fight doesn't go to decision, minus 128, 1.25 units. Gane, Lewis ends in a KO, minus 130, 1.5 units. Ode Osborne versus Manel Cop. Cop wins inside the distance, plus 190, half a unit on it. Johnny Munoz wins inside the distance, plus 120, half a unit on it. Miles John Dos Santos, under 2.5 rounds, plus 160, half unit on it. Man, a ton of action. I think like 10 plus money plays. So hopefully my big bets cash, Johnny Munoz, and then also the Hill Torres goes to decision. Need those to cash, and then also hit some plus money tickets there. So hopefully it's a good night. I'm feeling pretty good. You can follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers. Instagram is DFS by the numbers. Good luck to everybody if you're going the other way. Good luck if you're tailing. Good luck, and let's watch some fights. Let's have some fun. It's a good card, and yeah, we'll talk to you soon. So that's about it, guys, and good luck for UFC 265. See you later. Oh, and tune into the live stream today. See you.